Yeah, so you come very close to the end of the monsoon, only 15 more days to go, or 17 days. And the data as of today, which I don't have, but I just looked at it. Today, the rainfall has come to 707 millimeters, okay, compared to 770. So about 70 millimeters below what it should be for a normal monsoon. So 10% below normal. Now that's very interesting. So we are in a very last overs of this T20 match, because depending on what happens in the next 15 days, either we may have a drought, if it goes to 11%. If it remains below 10%, I will celebrate. It's not a drought year. And if it is 94%, they will have a big celebration because their prediction came out right. Now, remember, when this started the first week, 1st of June, I was saying it will be a drought year. It may not be. Okay. Now, this is a question I don't think anybody can answer why, because it was a clear El Nino year. El Nino very clearly, without any doubt, even much better than 2015. But July happened to be above normal, reason not known. August was well below normal. It looked like we're going to a drought, but September has recovered rapidly. Question is why? Okay, that is the question that needs to be answered, because to me, I see more and more evidence in the last 20 years that there are unusual things going on in the Indian monsoon, which we have not seen for the previous 150 years. I'll give you 3 examples. To July, my favorite, 50% below normal monthly rainfall. August 2023 this year, highest record. September 2019, highest rainfall. All the 3 have occurred in the last 20 years and not in the previous 150 years. So surely climate change playing a role, maybe decadal variability, but we are not sure. Okay, now the prediction made by IMD also may come out right. They said September rainfall will be between 90 and 100 within 10%. Okay, I didn't believe it, but the way things are going and the way things are emerging next 1 week, looks like it will be within 10%. Okay, that's also a surprise because I showed you the scatter plot between 3.4 and September rainfall should have been negative. Okay, but it may not be negative. It may be normal. It may be over normal. Now, why is that? The first thing is we saw a very rapid rise in 3.4. It has now crossed to 1.3 as of 10 days back, and there is no sign it's going to decrease. It's going to keep increasing, okay, till November, December. Now that's one part. The other part which we discussed briefly, but now I'll discuss in more detail. This is the IOD. What's amazing is IOD is rising rapidly from around August. Same way it did in 2019. Now that's really surprising because 2019 was neither a La Nina or El Nino. I made mistakes at La Nina once, and Salota corrected me. Now look at 2019, it was fluctuating around 0.5 and below and so on. It was neither El Nino nor La Nina. It was a neutral year. But in IOD, this year is almost following that. So if it follows that, then this IOD is going to play a role. Now the only trouble is I've not seen any mechanism how IOD rapidly increasing affects the monsoon. This is an association again. I have not seen any mechanism how this alters either the moisture coming into India or something else, or Bay of Bengal or something. Nothing, nobody explained it. They only say IOD is there, so monsoon are over now. And so I see no other evidence, even on the surface winds and so on. After all, if IOD and the development in the west and the east should be much colder and west should be much warmer. But this year, the west is much warmer, east is not that much colder. Okay, all this 1 degree is coming from west, and I am very suspicious because that is a sign of global warming. It has nothing to do with any dynamics of the ocean. If you look at the Arabian Sea, has been well above normal for a long time now, especially equatorial Arabian Sea. So that is, so you will get always positive anomaly in the Arabian Sea equator, has been so for 10 years now. Okay. So I'm concerned about this IOD definition because it depends so much on what's happening in the west and how do you remove the global warming trend and understand the ocean dynamics, because that's an issue I think which somebody should look at. Okay, now I got something very interesting which I wish I found earlier. I went to the ECMWL website and I find that every month they make a forecast for the next 7 months. Okay, very interesting. Now this is an interesting graph I want to explain to you. So this was first May. Okay. In first May, the first show in the yellow and this one is the 600-year simulation, how the monsoon behaves from May to November. Okay, that is to give you an idea of the model climatology, 600 years. But they also do the last 23 years here, 22 years, this one. Okay, that is the gray one. Mean and standard deviation and various single box, listed blocks. And then finally, the pink or violet, is what I call it, is the prediction for 2023. Okay, so I want to keep following it. I'll show you many slides. So on 1st May, ECMWL have said June will be below normal, July will be above normal, August will be normal, September is well below normal. Note that. Okay, that's the prediction made in May. Let's follow this. What happens as the time is evolving. This is June, June 1st. The first of each month they have I think they have 100 ensemble size, if I remember correctly. Sorry, this is 50. Okay. Now it came to June first week. Suddenly June rainfall has gone below normal. July has gone above normal. August has gone above normal. So these three have changed. This didn't change. This also a little bit. So quite clearly, what this shows, the first time I'm saying this, how sensitive the monthly and seasonal forecast is to the initial condition. Okay. Keep this in mind. If I'll show you every month, all the way to September, you'll see how much change occurs. This is July. Okay. 1st of July, I say that July rainfall will be above normal. This is correct. It happened correctly. August, normal wrong. September well below normal. Okay. So that is prediction from 1st July. Keep that in mind. We'll go further. This is August. Okay. What happened in August? Suddenly, August became amazingly below normal. So the first August prediction condition correctly predicted the break in August. So that shows clearly these models are driven by initial input. They are all driven by assimilation of all the data that are coming into the model. Model physics has been kept out. What I say, what is whole chemical if they know? Okay. But if you look at May 1st, it was following the model methodology. Okay. So this is the very interesting result that we could not have predicted the August drought without starting in July. It didn't happen. Only in August it happened. And sorry, August is here. And September is like notice, September is below normal. So let's go further. Now we come to very interesting one. This is September 1st. It is saying September is well below normal, okay, which is wrong. They got it wrong. So to me, I don't know what's happening. September is getting into very crazy last 2019 onwards. September behavior doesn't conform to what we see in the previous 150 years. So something has to be figured out. And of course, we don't look at October, November, that's not good. But so notice this prediction last month is not right. But I can tell you that when I'll show you later, the short-term forecast, this seasonal forecast, short-term forecast corrects it rapidly because every day they are accumulating more data after September 1st. So you will see that the more recent forecast obviously is correct for the next 1 week to 10 days. But the first September forecast was wrong totally. Okay, now let's look at the forecast from 10th September. Okay, and you can see that the forecast for this week, the current week, a lot of rain is carrying over Central India, starting with Bay of Bengal, so on. This is already happening. You can see the evidence on the satellite data. We are getting no rain, and the rain is confined mainly to North India, Northeast India, and this is all the way across to East Asia. Next is the next period. Still, it is well below normal in South India. This system is shifting toward the east, Just some rain in I think West Bengal and Northeast, but most of India will not have much positive anomaly. Okay? Now, this comes to 20th September. You have one more week. Look at that week. I'm sorry. I thought I had it. Okay. Maybe I should take it. Now, compare this with prediction by IMD and NWA. Okay? Very similar. This week, all the rain occurring here, yes, it's happening. You can verify that. Next week, it's coming a little bit to the north. And a lot of rain here, this is purely orographic rain, because this high rainfall drives the westerlies here and will rain, and we suffered on account of that. Okay. Then come to the next week, and the system is shifted all the way to the east, and most of India is normal. Okay. And this pretty much ends the monsoon. This will not look at. This is already last 2 days of the year. So only the last week of September, above normal. Above normal was probably both these two. Okay. This is similar to that, but in terms of color is not same, so it looks a little odd, but both are similar. That is NCUM and CFSV2. Now let's look at a more colorful chart that is put on IMD. So their prediction is this week is 13% above normal. Next week is 19% above normal. Okay. So those are going to increase the rainfall in September and bring it to normal or maybe above normal. Now let's look at the forecast made by ESMWF, short-term forecast. This is not what we saw earlier. And what's remarkable is both this and GFS and southern forecast are almost same. I never seen such a nice agreement between two independent centers initialized yesterday, 12 September. So this is the most recent one. It goes up to 27. So based on this, I would say that September rainfall will be normal or maybe a little bit above normal. And so this was not what any model said in the month of September. So a lot of things have evolved rapidly. I don't know what caused it. Can be SST or something else. So people are, of course, as you should say, MGO. MGO is active now. Okay. But I'm not saying clear verdict as to how it contributed to this strengthening of the monsoon. Okay. Now let's look at the numbers. So this already I've shown. This is the current week, next week, week after. So the last week of September is close to normal. These 2 weeks is above normal. So it will help September become either normal or a little bit above normal. Now let's come to some numbers here. So up to today, it is 707 okay? And the next 18 days, or 17 days, 18 days here, if it's climatology, you can 90 mm, you can easily check that. So we add this to this, you get 797, which comes in these two. Okay. I want to remember that because next 2 weeks we'll look at it. So that's why the Dr. Mahapatra announced that this year monsoon will be normal. Was confident, okay? Because you got a number 797. So if a little more rain occurs and you come close to this, you'll be celebrating because it will be what they predicted. 94 to 104, so 94 is lower end of that prediction. But even if it comes to 91%, it's not drought, remember that. So they'll celebrate because it's not a drought, although there's arbitrary cutoff. So to me, the final value of the JGL rainfall this year will be somewhere between 800 to 820 range. Okay. So if it comes at 820, then IMD predict comes out right. And the only thing I'm curious about is how did they arrive at it? There's no discussion in the anywhere. I would like to see that argument because the IMD's final prediction they make to the press is a combination of statistical and dynamical. Okay? And there's a meeting where people meet together, discuss back and forth, and arrive at some. It's like what's the correct word for it? It's like consensus approach. Okay? So there's a wisdom there. They have been doing it for a long time. So they got it right, but I would like to know why they got it right because I'm very particular that when you give a forecast, you have to give the reason behind it. As I told you, if you don't give the reason and you get the right forecast, maybe it's fluke, may not be anything useful. And it's about the future because monsoon is changing quite clearly. And so we will see whether this is 94 or 90. And but even though they may get it right, I don't think anybody got the August right or September right. You go back and look at it. I might review it in the last week of September. I don't think anybody got the fact that August was so much below normal and September above normal above normal. That I don't think any of the centers got it right. And sometimes, of course, in average of time, things can average out. Okay, now I want to briefly mention that IMD website has lots of things which are not fully explored. Whenever there's a heavy rainfall, even in any given monsoon year, within a short time they put out a note. Please read it, very interesting. They analyze that extreme event, ask how well they have done in predicting it. Okay, so this is one of the reports which has come out recently. You can look through it. You go under press release in the IMD website, you'll get all these reports. Okay, so this is the one which in North India, the heavy rainfall in parts of North India, and they're trying to analyze how it was done. Okay, so this is the observed anomaly in rainfall in that week. Okay, very rainfall, Olympic, Chandigarh, and so on, was plotting it out. This is the reason, and of course, there was no rain in Northeast. And this was the forecast. So I would say, except for Southern India, it's quite good. This pattern they currently got. That is week one forecast. Okay, when you go to week two, it's very poor. There is week one, week two. This is again with observation. This is not. So this to me gives a clear message that as of today, our weather forecast models are good only in the first week for heavy rainfall events. You cannot trust them for the second week, which I think is okay. I have no criticism of that, because if you want to prepare for a disaster, you don't look at 2 weeks. 1 week is more than enough. If 1 week ahead, I'm going to tell you it's going to rain heavily, all the digital magic train, all will take. 2 weeks ahead is not required. It would be nice to have it, but not required. So I would say that this heavy rainfall had a lot of impact in Chandigarh and Haryana and Punjab, was predicted correctly 1 week in advance. And if somebody didn't make arrangement, that's the fault of the administration, not of the scientists. Okay, now they also do a lot of statistical analysis of various models. You can compare. Okay, so the first one is the probability prediction. So you can predict for various levels. Okay, this is heavy, very heavy, extremely heavy, okay, according to this category of IMD. Now, and there are various other. I won't look at all these. You can look at it. I only look at whether you can detect heavy rainfall. You can see it's only 15% at the best. So that's not good news. So although they got the overall forecast is good rain, magnitude above 65 millimeters, which in India right now causes flood in all urban areas. So urban areas are badly managed. So they get it right only 15% of the time. Okay, and many of the models don't do that. Only these two models. I believe this is N sub and N cube. Okay, rest of them are quite poor. Okay. Sorry, this is for the heavy rainfall. You go to very heavy rainfall, which is mostly just for flood. Most of them are not right. One of them is 10%. And you go to really heavy rainfall, which happened in Himachal, almost nothing. So this is the thing people are known for, that extreme rainfall prediction, short-term rainfall, very hard. Nobody got it right, and lot more research is required before we get anywhere here, even 15%. Okay. So this is a nice report. It's a lot more is there. Just picked out a few things which are interesting there. Now, this is a forecast for the coming week made by both ECMWF and GFS. Very similar. I'm really impressed how close they are. Okay? That means it's more or less right. Two independent agencies are predicting this. This will come out, most of them right. And this is the standard which I always show. Green is a forecast and blue is the observation. It was go from 1st September up to around 7th. Then it's under predicted the actual rainfall. So up to 10, this is the previous week. And if you look at the current week, it correctly predicted the decline in rainfall up to today somewhere here. Sorry, today somewhere here. I just saw the number around. Yeah. So it's going to increase now. So we'll watch actually whether that increase is greater. This is very critical. If this increase does not occur, September rainfall will not be normal. It will be below normal. So this next week will be the critical week for determining how good September will be. And this is the prediction up to 22nd September. Amazing. It is saying rainfall will be twice the normal. If it is true, then it will be above normal. So we still cannot be sure the September will be normal or above normal. It depends on the short-term forecast being correct. Yeah, I just want to make an interesting mention. All of you must have seen news about climate change and forest fires and so on. One of the most terrible forest fires occurred in Hawaii. All of you heard about it. About 1,000 people died in a developed country, which is very uncommon. I mean, other countries can happen. And their difficulty because the whole city was this one. And it's a very interesting account of it, which all of you must appreciate. Because very easy to say climate change and blame climate change for it and walk away. It is much more complicated. Okay. And what they are saying is this island of Hawaii, another small island, not the main island, was a very, very wet place 300 years ago. Okay. It was a moist, wet area. And when the Americans came over and occupied it, they converted it into agriculture, misused all the water, and after some time it became not profitable. So they gave it up, and then some grasses grew which are not native to Hawaii. Okay. Those are the grasses which burned like crazy in the, I think, last week of September. So the very interesting account showing how the change to land use has impacted many parts of the world. So many of the forest fires are saying today are not just climate change. Climate change is only one part of it. Okay? There are many other things we have done incorrectly for the sake of short-term greed, short-term gain. That is caused. This is a very interesting example. I think it's worth studying this example here. Okay, so I'll stop there. There's the old graph which shows how September is below normal, but it will not happen. Okay. So anybody has a question?
So in general, I have seen that most of the things in CFS usually underpredicts the rainfall in the active phase over northern India. So yeah. Above 20 degrees doesn't always predict. So it might be even the rainfall might be more than the predicted thing. But the other question is, suppose more or less the September prediction is right, but if the monsoon doesn't retreat within 30th September itself, then I mean, say it's retreats at 10th October or something like that, then I mean, it's about the definition. I mean, probably. Yeah, this is a debate a lot because this whole question of why do you talk about 30th September? Okay, because we are human beings who follow calendar. Yeah. Nature follows its own calendar. Yeah. So that's usually the. But from purely point of view of running a country, yeah, you cannot keep changing the spirit. But having said all that, I am not saying anybody do a careful analysis. Defining and natural, all the results are discussed by Murakami. Define a natural date at the beginning of the monsoon season, based on data, and end of the monsoon season, and recalculate everything. All your droughts and flood and tell me how to reach there. I'm not seeing it. And also the that point is if you just subtract Malayan region rainfall, this we actually are having. No, that's why I can tell you. India is a complex country, Yeah. So I was telling you one. See, we define all India so that everybody feels they are a part of it. Okay. The key part of study part of it is India, not all India. Yeah. All India is very misleading. If the rain is taken northeast is not in so long, rains a lot of but all India is a political statement. Okay, Central India is a scientific statement. So if you want to understand, look at core monsoon zone, that is what it is. So that's only informed zone with no regular rain. See, Western Ghats is very different. Northeast is very different. Kashmir is very different. Kashmir is well, but I have seen one interesting paper, I guess, Sobel and others, who said that ISMR is mostly correlated with Western Ghats and security. That I'm not so sure. I think they look at the highest order is only in that area, it goes down all around. But so out of the scientific point of view, those who do modeling who want to understand, they should use the core monsoon zone. And that, I think the NAC is understood that. Now, there are, I think the government organization, not academic. So they have requirements of society, requirement for science. That's why they have to make so many zones. So one understands that. Yeah, I would like to only the core monsoon zone for any discussion about scientific aspects. So you don't want to add Himalaya, you don't want to add Northeast, Western Ghats, you have very different local zone. Yeah, anybody else? Okay, so next week is Mayur, right? Okay, fine. So there's going to be 2 more weeks. Thank you.